What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Dynamite, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a Hall of Famer says Seth should lose at Summerslam, is an AEW star making a huge return to WWE, AEW fans disgusted with the women's division, Rey Mysterio warns Dominik, a former WWE star headed to Impact Wrestling, where's Lacey Evans, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, AR Fox's heel turn. Who is AR Fox? Well, up until last night's Dynamite, fans were likely to think of the classic Nintendo game Star Fox. However, his heel turn and attack on mentor Darby Allin has the potential to get fans talking, and judging from what we've seen from him so far, a feud against Darby should make for some significant numbers. Number 2, Jericho angle is full of suspense. Chris Jericho continues to show how he finds new ways to stay relevant as AEW continues keeping fans guessing what's up with Jericho and Don Callis. Even better, this angle has given the various members of the JAS the most exposure they've had in months. Number 3, MJF Cole may be the best thing in AEW. Cole and MJF's bromance continues to entertain and teases fans know there are shenanigans down the road, but they have no idea what will set things off or who will play the heel. MJF has betrayed so many partners that fans know better than to expect him to turn babyface. Nevertheless, AEW has done such a good job teasing Cole turning on MJF that fans are mesmerized by the storyline. Number 4, Britt Baker DDS. At the risk of sounding like Britt Baker stans, we can't help but celebrate any segment or match featuring her, who remains AEW's top female talent as one of its overall top talents. Baker vs Taya Valkyrie was a solid match that showed what the women's division can do when it's booked properly. Number 5, exciting 4-way tag match. While AEW's roster is ridiculously large, last night's tag match showed that occasionally there are benefits to having 3,000 wrestlers, or so it seems, on your roster, especially for fans of tag team wrestling. Number 6, AEW continues cross-promoting its shows. Slow and steady wins the race, and AEW seems to realize that if it wants to boost its audience, it needs to make the most of its TV time, which is why AEW is promoting its other shows on Dynamite. While it's far too early to tell whether Collision will meet Warner Bros. Discovery's expectations, they don't seem to be taking anything for granted, as it's working hard to make every show must-see television. And the Puck Attack. AEW's added TV time also means more time for underutilized talent such as Puck, who excels as a singles wrestler and seems headed for a program with the BCC, which should make for some big bouts and more TV time. But that was good. What about the bad? Is number 1, Moxley's meandering. John Moxley is an exceptional talent, but what's going on with his promos that wander into the Twilight Zone far too often, making no sense. Although his promos aren't as ridiculous as the late great Ultimate Warriors, they often make as much sense. And no matches booked for All In? All In is rapidly approaching, and yet AEW still hasn't announced any matches for his Wembley Stadium Super Show. Now, we understand that the business has changed where promotions can usually get away with booking big events, especially in underserved international markets where supply is low and demand is high, without announcing any matches. Indeed, All In continues to sell more tickets and may break an attendance record, but fans have got to be wondering whether AEW has any idea what's going to book on its show while keeping the next week's all-out pay-per-view interesting enough to order. Now, there's nothing downright ugly. AEW just finished a BCC vs Elite story arc, but it wasted no time embarking on a new program for the group. They utilized their time well and created some interesting new storylines that will hopefully begin building things for All In and All Out. What did you guys think of Dynamite last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. At top of today's news, our first story looks at Seth Rollins should lose at SummerSlam. Should Finn Balor beat Seth Rollins at SummerSlam and walk away with the World Heavyweight Championship? Well, WWE Hall of Famer Bully Ray recently made the case for a Finn win, arguing, "I hope it's Finn because the internal story of Finn and Damian Priest intrigues me, and Dominik and Rhea are trying to keep them at bay." He argued on Busted Open Radio that Seth isn't the workhorse champion he claims to be. He's not the workhorse guy that they made us believe he was going to be. I know it's still brand new, I get it. The man who helped Dudleyville famous took things further by saying that Seth's theme music is more over than him. Now we wonder if Bully Ray has been watching WWE TV or keeping up on live events, as the Visionary is constantly defending his belt and is a regular on TV. What do you guys think of his opinion? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, will Cody Rhodes' documentary feature AEW footage? Will the WWE's upcoming documentary on Cody Rhodes feature any AEW footage? The Wrestling Observer newsletter recently reported that Peacock program will include footage from Being the Elite and Cody signing with AEW. However, there's no footage of Cody competing in AEW. Next up, an AEW star making a huge return to WWE. Is Dustin Rhodes returning to WWE? While there were reports that Cody Rhodes' brother could be in WWE soon, that might not seem to be the case. As Fightful Select reports, Fightful Select has learned Rhodes has plenty of time on his contract. Sources confirmed to Fightful that Rhodes' deal is up in September 2024. Dustin has discussed how he sees his wrestling career winding down soon, but based on his performances, he can still go. Next up, AEW fans disgusted with the women's division. A recent sign on Dynamite has reignited the debate about AEW's women's division. In case you missed it, the cameras captured a fan showing a sign that read "Book the women's division better." This led to a rash of responses online, including wrestler Lance Storm tweeted, "Watch Impact, #Knockouts division." AEW's women's division is all over the place, but given the level of talent it now has, there's no reason to complain except for the way the talent is being used, or in some fans' view, misused. Next up, Rey Mysterio warns Dominik. Is Rey Mysterio looking to capture son Dominik's North American Championship? Papa Ray recently appeared on The Bump discussing his troubled relationship with his wayward son, but also revealed how proud he was of him. Sometimes when you fight with your kids, or your kids do the wrong things and you gotta put them in place, despite the issues that we might have in our family, you can't even imagine the amount of pride and joy that I feel every time he accomplishes something. That still doesn't take away the fact that he's disrespected his whole family, and I'm hoping that one day that will all change. He also predicted what will happen should the two meet up in the ring again. As a father, despite our differences, I'm extremely proud of what he's doing and what he's conquering. He just better not step in the ring with me because I will take that North American title. There are rumors that Rey vs Dominik feud will continue after WrestleMania, culminating in a match versus hair match. While that doesn't appear to be in the cards right now, don't rule out a match taking place down the road, with WrestleMania 40 being the likely location. Next up, Gunther talks expanding Imperium. Is Imperium expanding? While fans have heard rumors of Gunther's faction growing, so far there's been no sign of it happening in the near future. Nevertheless, the current Intercontinental Champion, who's closing in on the Honky Tonk Man's record for the longest reign, discussed two potential candidates. He told WrestleBinge that any additional members should be female and that he'd either choose Charlotte Flair or Io Sky. However, Gunther said he sees no need to grow the group, well, just yet. Next up, a former WWE star headed to Impact Wrestling. It's good news for fans of former superstar Kalisto, as Wrestling Inc. reports Kalisto will be working several matches for Impact Wrestling. He'll wrestle twice this weekend at Impact Wrestling's live events, both of which will take place at the Cicero Stadium in Chicago. Kalisto was released from WWE in 2021, but he's been active, appearing on AEW TV once and competing in DDT and AAA. There's no word on whether Impact Wrestling is interested in signing him or whether this is just a short-term situation. And finally, where is Lacey Evans? Last but not least, where is Lacey Evans? Evans, who's seemingly gone through every possible gimmick on the WWE short of playing Doink the Clown, continues to remain incognito in WWE, and according to Ringside News, there's no hurry to use her. WWE brought Lacey Evans back to TV and it caused a bunch of problems with Sergeant Slaughter, then she vanished. We're not able to confirm that the two are related, but Lacey Evans is not getting any creative pitches in the creative team right now. But there you have it folks, our look at Dynamite as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.